Joe talks about Joe. And now, your host, Joe Slepsky.
Hey, and welcome back to Joe on Joe. I'm your host, Joe Slepsky, and we are back. This is the only podcast where we watch every episode of G.I. Joe in sequential order and comment on it. Thank you for listening. That theme song you heard was by Jay Flax and the Heart Attacks. They're a Washington, D.C.-based band, backed by our man Matt Teese, not fronted because he's the drummer. So I guess it would be the backed by Matt Teese, right? I'm talking to my guest today.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no. I've not introduced you yet. So I'm leading into it. I'm talking to our guest today, who is she's a comedian, and she's a writer. She's New York-based, but I know her from Chicago. You can find her all over Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. She's got an amazing Tumblr blog called I Look Like Laura Dern, which we're going to talk about, which is I find hilarious. So friends and ladies and gentlemen out there in Joe on Joeville, please welcome Maria Wojciechowski.
Hello. Thanks for having me, Joe.
Thank you for being on the show, Maria. You're out here in California.
I am.
Just for a couple weeks to try to scare up some work.
Yes.
Yeah, you're applying your comedy chops.
Trying to, yeah.
So how long have you been doing stand-up?
I've been doing stand-up now for about 3 years.
Yeah.
And then before that, I was doing improv and sketch. So I guess total with comedy was like 8 or 9 years.
You're very talented.
Thank you.
I first met Maria when she was in a show that Joe and Joe listeners know. My wife, Rebecca, is a Second City teacher, and she was directing a show at Second City, and Maria was in one of her shows.
Yep.
And we just thought she was super talented. Like, she was great, like a great stage presence, wonderful energy, wonderful person to be around. Rebecca loved her, like, just personality wise off screen.
Well, I forced myself to be friends with her too.
Well, that you guys both have that in common. You just do that. You both do that to each other. And so then we were casting. We were trying to figure out who we wanted in our show, our sketch show that we do about like superheroes and stuff. And I just turned to my wife and I go, well, there's only one person that can play Sue Storm, and it's Maria.
Oh, it was so fun.
Yeah, that's the only person that can play Sue Storm, and you just nailed it.
Oh, yeah, I loved it. I want to do that again.
Yeah, well, they were slowly getting more of the gang out here, so who knows, maybe we'll do a revival.
Yes.
Yeah, you were fantastic in it.
Thank you.
So she's very talented on stage, and I've seen some of her stand-up, because you're doing that mostly in New York, so I've never seen you live.
Right.
But I've seen it on YouTube or on in your Facebook Live stuff.
Yeah.
You're very funny.
Thank you.
You did a Pope Batman, which was Batman as the Pope.
Yes. He hosts a late night talk show, and night is spelled K-N-I-G-H-T.
It was very funny.
Thank you.
Very funny. It was done with an action figure.
Yeah, and it's not dead yet. It's just it takes a long time for me to put out, and my brain's been elsewhere.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about reviving him, but making him actually talk about the real news.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because he's been talking about like Gotham Universe, and that's the news he's been giving mixed with some Catholicism.
Got it.
But I'm thinking about switching it up.
Has Pope Batman commented on this new Pope? Not the HBO's The Young Pope.
He is not.
Which I tried watching and fell asleep on.
I liked it.
I thought it was boring as hell.
Yeah, I mean it is boring, but it's pretty.
But I'm not Catholic though. That's the thing. My take on that show is if you're Catholic, you probably love it.
I agree, because if you are Catholic, you already know all the drama and the politics.
Right.
But if you're not Catholic, you have to learn, like, okay, so what is a cardinal exactly, and who does this?
I just now am realizing that the young Pope is the Joe and Joe of HBO shows. Joe and Joe is so niche, and it's so for hardcore G.I. Joe fans that if you're not into it, you're like, you do a podcast about what?
Young Pope is definitely the Pope Batman of
But with the new Pope in office, the actual real Pope, has Pope Batman made any comment on that?
He's only commented on Pope Benedict and the time when there was an imposter. There was an imposter Pope Batman out
that's right.
on YouTube, and an imposter Pope Batman on Twitter. And they literally stole my idea, like, because they used my picture as their.
And did we get that shut down, or is that still out there?
No, it's still out there, but it's not big enough for me to worry about.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I like that. More importantly, Maria, you do a Tumblr.
Yes.
That we teased up top. It's called I Look Like Laura Dern.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen out there in the listening audience, the reason for that name, it's not just a clever name, as they said in the movie Wayne's World. She looks like Laura Dern.
Well, I dyed my hair brown, so now I don't look as much like her.
Okay.
But But yeah, when it's blonde.
It's not just the hair.
It is funny because I was telling Joe I did a stand-up show and this comic came up to me a couple days ago in LA and she was like, has anyone ever, what celebrity, she was very shy about it. What celebrity do people say you look like? And I was like, oh, I get Laura Dern a lot. She said, that's what I was going to say. And so I showed her my Tumblr and she was like annoyed by it. I was like, well, you brought this up.
Yeah. Like, you can't be annoyed. You brought it to me. I pointed out the fact that you're not the first person to think of this. In fact, I not only thought of it, I created a whole website dedicated to it.
Yeah.
But now you're upset because you're not the clever one.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. Get out of here. That's terrible.
But yeah.
So what Maria does is she takes photos of Laura Dern from movies and just famous paparazzi style pictures, and she recreates them with herself in her apartment in New York.
Yes.
With whatever props you have handy and whatever outfits that you can most closely resemble her looks. And I've got to say, you nailed them.
Thank you.
You really nailed them.
Yeah, and it's also funny because I definitely don't have all the same outfits, and I do try to get as close, but I don't want to spend money on it, so it's very cheaply recreated.
The exact address for that. Let's send some people there. It's I look like Laura Dern.
.tumblr.com.
Okay, so Google that, go to that, and really send her some love because it's hilarious.
Thank you.
It really is hilarious. Actually, so a real quick interlude. I'll use the word interlude because as we were talking, we just got interrupted by someone at my door, and they were dropping off, for all you G.I. Joe fans, the G.I. Joe Silent Interlude 30th Anniversary Special from IDW. I know what you're asking yourself. You're like, Joe, why didn't you have this book already? And the real reason is because I just didn't. I remember when it came out, and I was like, this is pretty awesome. And then I just didn't grab it, and then my store sold out of it, and then life went on, and I never got it. So recently I rectified that. And what I'm talking about is the G.I. Joe issue number 21 of the Real American Hero Marvel comic. It was the silent interlude. All you good Joe fans know all about this. One of the most famous comics. Actually, most famous comics breaking even the G.I. Joe barrier. But it's a 30th anniversary book that IDW put out to celebrate it. They reprint the original story. They also reprint Larry Hama's layouts and his actual, like, the line art for it. And then in the back, they have a secondary silent story that comes from G.I. Joe Origins 19. So it's a really nice hardcover book. And it's by Larry Hama and Steve Lee Aloha. It's great. It's really nice. You can get it on Amazon. That's not an endorsement. I'm not getting paid for anything. But if you're a Joe fan and you love the comics, check it out, the G.I. Joe Silent Interlude 30th Anniversary.
It does look cool.
So, Maria.
Yes.
Did you watch G.I. Joe?
I saw one episode of it. I remember because my cousin Steven loved G.I. Joe.
Shout out to Steven.
And he had an action figure, and I remember one Christmas he got the G.I. Joe action figure for Christmas, and I got the Jasmine action figure, Barbie,
awesome,
from Aladdin. And so we played with those like all Christmas. I was probably, I don't remember, somewhere between 7 and 9, maybe.
So like mid-90s-ish?
Yeah.
And he was watching G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
What were you watching then when you were like 10,
okay,
11-ish? What was your jam?
Loved Rocko's Modern Life was my favorite show. And I loved Rugrats. Anything Nickelodeon.
So you were Nickelodeon baby.
Yeah, literally anything Nickelodeon. I didn't have Disney yet, so I got into Disney shows around 13 or 12. And then Nickelodeon. And I also liked Muppet Babies. I can't remember if that was Nickelodeon or not.
No, Muppet Babies, I think, was CBS.
Yeah, I liked Muppet Babies, obviously. I watched Sesame Street when I was much younger.
Yeah. Toys? Any toys?
Toys-wise, I loved Barbie's Way Too Late into Life. Our storylines.
When she came to our doorstep out here in LA, she had a second suitcase with just Barbies. Had the Corvette. And a little mini camper van. You're like, that's what she drives it on vacation.
I will say, because of Pope Batman, I still do buy Barbies. It does give me an excuse. The kids don't play with Barbies anymore, so someone's got to support them.
What version of Batman is Pope Batman? Is that from the '89?
It's I have the white one. So I'm a poser. I don't know a ton about Batman.
Okay.
I have the one that I use most of the time is the white Batman.
Okay, so like some kind of snow.
Yeah, he's like got a black hat and then white armor, and then I also have the one where he's got blue on.
Awesome.
Yeah, I found them both in bins in a comic book store. I'll tell you the story about it.
Yeah.
The origin story. I just was in New York visiting, and my friend jokingly said, "Bring back a Pope action figure," and I couldn't find one. And so instead, I found a Batman in a bin that was $1, and I bought it, and then I made a papal hat for it. And
so funny.
Yeah, that was it.
What's funny is they do make Pope action figures.
They do, yeah.
They do, yeah.
I know, and I couldn't. I was looking for it. I found like Mary and Jesus. And I couldn't find a Pope.
And strangely, all this Pope talk. Yesterday at the shop, we just got in a copy of the Marvel comic Life of John Paul II comic book.
What? That exists?
It does. They put it out in the mid '80s.
Wow.
And it sells for like $10-15. Like it's a little bit of a collectible.
I wonder if my dad would like that.
Yeah, I know where to find one. We
Yeah.
just got one in the store yesterday. Yeah.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
But back to
your dad would love it. The
cartoons.
good old Polish Pope.
Yeah.
That's what my grandparents loved.
Yeah, my dad is a big fan of JP2. But yeah, going back to TV shows, all Nickelodeon, all the time.
Nickelodeon all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to watch a show today called Pit of Vipers.
Okay.
What you need to know before going in is that you don't know anything really. It's enjoyable. It's awesome. It's a good show. There's some cool like real world implications about it. It's kind of a forward thinking show, I think.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
What year? This was in the 90s?
This was 1985.
Okay.
Yeah,
85.
This aired in December of 85.
All right, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. So So any references to
Reagan.
Reagan, yeah. No, they didn't do a lot of real topical stuff like that, but yeah, keep it in mind. So we're so awesome. So we're gonna get into it, ladies and gentlemen. Pit of Vipers. Get ready to start the show. Oh, Maria, the music. The G.I. Joe music is classic and awesome. Are you familiar with this opening at all?
No.
Well, sit back and enjoy it. And, well, don't just sit back. Actually, comment on it.
I mean, this is
But
a song
enjoy it.
I would have really gotten behind as a kid.
Oh, it's so great.
G.I. Joe.
Yeah, it's so great. So all these acrobats. So basically, they're introducing you to all the characters. These are now not everyone on this show. This episode is in the opening. This is the same opening every episode.
Oh, I see.
But it's just giving you a quick tour. These are all the characters that you're going to run into on the show. Like there's just a plethora of G.I. Joe characters to choose from and to love. Not as many Cobra bad guys. Cobra has about 5 to 10 main bad guys.
Yeah.
But then most of their minions are like the faceless Vipers or Cobra soldiers.
Oh, okay.
Whereas everyone on the G.I. Joe squad, G.I. Joe does have green shirts, just dudes in the background, but that's really they never participate in the plots really.
Oh, okay.
Everyone in the plot on the G.I. Joe side is a character. Cobra they'll bring in random. So
are they always snakes?
Snake themed a lot. Yeah, a lot of snake themed stuff. Cobra's the main bad guy, so their soldiers are always called something Viper, Hydro Viper,
Rattles.
Rattles. Yeah, well, yeah.
Is that real?
Yeah, these airplanes are called Rattlers.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So this episode is written by Flint Dille, who is fantastic, and so get ready for a really great episode because he's one of the best G.I. Joe writers, and he does not disappoint. And from out of nowhere, we don't waste any time. A giant, what would you call that? A fortress in the desert?
Yeah, it was like a fortress.
Just kind of slams up out of the ground right outside the pit. The pit is what G.I. Joe's headquarters.
Okay.
And they're out in the desert, and that's just where they launch everything from. That guy right there, that's Heavy Metal. That's his first appearance on the show.
How could they have built that thing without our satellites picking it up?
So Lady J.
She's very handsome.
You know what? Last episode Rebecca was on. She was like, she's a sultry lass.
Yeah, she's kind of got like a strong jawline.
Oh yeah,
Just
she's great. She's the female lead at this point, kind of taking over from Scarlett, and that was Flint, and then that was Heavy Metal, and Breaker was on the radio. So the Joes see this giant fortress that showed up in the desert, not terribly far from the pit, and they're sending in. These are Sky Strikers. They're on Awe Strikers, the cars, and they're fighting all these Rattlers. This is awkward because Ace and Lady J, neither Ace or Lady J are wearing helmets as they're flying their airplanes.
Oh, they're supposed to be wearing helmets?
You would think one would wear a helmet,
but they don't
flying
look.
a jet fighter.
But this is the 80s. You gotta look cool in the 80s.
Helmet laws? You're saying the helmet laws weren't up to snuff?
No, they were definitely not up to snuff. I mean, I wasn't alive in 85, but I'm assuming they weren't because as a 90s kid, I definitely didn't wear a helmet very often.
Bazooka and Flint, they're knocking some of these guys out of the sky. I will say this. There's something about this animation that it's not bad. We've talked about the animation on the show a lot where
I like it.
Yeah. Oh, no. I love the animation, the overall animation.
Yeah.
And the look of it. I think it's great.
Yeah.
But there's something a little looser about this, but I think it works. Like the Sky Strikers weren't as densely rendered. And there's just like when you there's just some of the finer details that are missing, but I think it still works.
Yeah, the lip dubbing doesn't quite look like.
Well, that's lip flapping is that Joe. You're never going to get great lip flapping.
It's so good.
So the Joes, all the Cobras that they were fighting, all the Cobra vehicles just disappeared. And the Joes they stormed this castle.
Is that part of the plot, or was that just an?
Oh no, it's part of the plot.
Oh, okay.
But they disappear, and so now they're in this fortress, and there's absolutely no one in the fortress.
The Defense Department built this unit. It's codenamed Watchdog, and it's the world's most advanced computer system.
I love his wrinkles.
Oh yeah,
he has 3 wrinkles. They're like, we need to make sure he looks old.
Very old. He's very, very old. Colonel Sharp shows up. That's him you hear talking, and
but sir,
the machine makes holograms.
What's the point? Well,
and we're going to find out why.
Watchdog is the Joe team's new commander, Flint.
What?
I still have no idea what's going on because we have been talking.
Attention to the monitor, please. Watchdog is far more than a computer. It's a communications and reconnaissance network, continually scanning every square inch of the globe and beyond.
He's gonna be a bad guy, huh?
What?
Yeah.
How dare you impugn his good name, or possibly predict how the show's gonna go? Maybe he is. But yeah, so the Joes are basically this is that 80s Fear episode of like AI.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Computers are going to take us over. What this is.
It's not wrong.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's a forward-thinking episode.
Yeah.
So now this computer is deciding where all the threats are and where it's going to send people to.
Okay.
You know, it's funny. As we're talking, this is similar to some of the plot points from the Marvel movies. Mm-hmm. In Winter Soldier, when the Butch Cassidy, what's his name? Really, not Paul Newman, but Paul Newman's counterpart. Why am I blanking on his name?
I am never gonna be able to help you with this.
Oh, really? The guy who won Sundance Film Festival. The most handsome actor ever. Robert Redford. Sorry for blanking on Redford's name.
Wait, he was in Winter Soldier?
Yeah, he was amazing, and he ran
the new one.
Yeah, the Captain America, the second Captain America.
Okay, so I have to say, I saw Captain America front row. Had no idea what was going on because I could barely see the screen.
It's just say he punched a lot of Nazis.
Yeah, I figured that's what was happening.
He punched a lot of Nazis. So in Winter Soldier, Robert Redford had a Shield. They had a Shield computer program that basically did this. It would use computer algorithms to track and find out where the trouble spots were going to be and who troubled people were going to be. It would be like predictive. And like this guy's, all the things that this guy's been doing, whether it's his background or his
it's like
whatever.
Minority Report.
Exactly like Minority Report. And that's similar to what they're doing in this episode, where this computer is supposedly using all its computer knowledge around the world to say, this is where the next hotspot's going to be.
So you're telling me I could just take a G.I. Joe episode and turn it into a blockbuster film?
They've done that many times.
Yes.
Oh,
okay.
They've done that many times. So we're going to go into commercial break with the ship that the Joes were going to rescue disappeared. Today's Filecard feature is on the Cobra Battlefield Technician, codename Techno-Viper. Modern battles involve expensive, complicated machines, and it is inevitable that these machines sustain enemy-inflicted damage, succumb to driver error, or simply break down of their own accord. It is the mission of the Techno-Vipers to provide field maintenance support and combat engineer capability to the frontline Cobra troops. Techno-Vipers can repair HISS tanks, build bridges, and retrieve large, heavy machines from seemingly inaccessible places. Just because the Techno-Vipers carry wrenches and jacks, don't underestimate them. They work their way up from the ranks of Vipers, and each one of them is a qualified Cobra infantryman. They also function as sappers and are always called on as the first wave in assaulting a heavily fortified position. Fixing a supercharged turbo-assisted Cobra battlecruiser in the heat of combat can be like trying to put out a fire with lighter fluid. Considering most Cobra vehicles are built by backstabbing illegal arms manufacturers, who make no promises and include no guarantees. It's a wonder these masters of makeshift maintenance can fix them at all. And when there's a frag flying in every direction and the unit you're working on could easily blow up in your face, it's tough to pay heed to the Cobra Auto Club motto, fight 'em, fix 'em, frag 'em. First thing that stands out for me with the Cobra Techno-Viper is that he's got the name of Techno-Viper, and yet he's a glorified mechanic, which is not being a mechanic's not a bad thing. But I like that they jazzed it up and saying that he's a Techno-Viper. He wears a very purple outfit, it's like a tribute to Prince. I don't really know much about this guy. I don't remember seeing him used very much in the comics. I like his backpack, though. His backpack literally has tools in it, like crescent wrenches, and there's a hammer or something. It's kind of neat. I feel like he's the grunt or the clutch of the Cobras. This is one of the cooler finds for me personally in making this show, that like they went and made a Cobra Mechanic. So Techno-Viper, who may just be Cousin Cooter in disguise, we salute you.
Now back to G.I. Joe.
So the computer. This is important, actually. The computer sent the Joes to go get a ship a boat called the Cerebus, and it sank. It is now gone. Shipwreck can't find it. They did find a ship full of Cobras, and they fought the Cobras, and they beat the Cobras away.
Okay.
But now the ship's gone. Shipwreck is still underwater in the Shark. The Shark is the ship that's flying.
I figured that.
Yeah, it goes underwater, but it also can fly in the air.
Nice.
Delgado, return to USS Flag at once. Sediment, my left barnacle.
Back to the flag, Shipwreck.
Shipwreck's awesome, by the way. Shipwreck's the wild card. He's the Han Solo of the show.
Okay.
He's kind of like the rebel, the wild card guy. He puts the communicator from the computer into the torpedo tube, and he launches it. And a shark is now going to eat it. That's awesome. Jaws just ate the computer.
What happened?
And is that a bad thing that the shark ate it?
No, it's just like that's how the computer was tracking him.
Oh.
So now the computer that's running the Joe team has no idea where to find Shipwreck.
Shipwreck! Shipwreck!
No use, Flint. Dang fool shut off his radio.
Attention, Cobra unit located. Florida Everglades.
The computer gives them another mission to go to, and it also assigns people to.
Guess I've got my orders.
So in Winter Soldier, it turned out to be a very unreliable thing, and it was a bad thing.
Yes.
I don't think this is going to turn out well.
Well, and also, it never turns out well when they bring in a new scientist into a series. There was
make a good point.
Here's a new. Anytime they bring in a new person who has a really high-powered position, it never turns out well. If it's like here's a new soldier or like new middle management, it's fine. But whenever it's someone who's
some plucky young assistant that has to work their way up, they're going to be the hero.
Yeah.
Yeah. It turns out they're not going to be the mastermind villain.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we just got a hint as to the second part of this episode's plot. So we just left the Cobra Temple, not really a temple, the underground underwater base, where Cobra had a giant drilling machine. So that's going to come into play.
And they're in the Everglades now, huh?
They are.
So they wouldn't be able to do this nowadays.
Why? What's wrong with the Everglades?
Aren't
what
they
happened to the Everglades?
They're disappearing.
Oh my God! Well, it's so funny. So a ton of G.I. Joe action happens in quote the swamps, which is most likely the Everglades of Florida.
Yeah.
So you're saying that the Everglades are disappearing. So the Dreadnoks' home base. Dreadnoks are a biker gang on the show that hang out.
Yeah.
In the swamp. So you're saying that their headquarters is likely gone now.
It's either gone or relocated.
Maria, where'd you grow up?
When?
Where?
Oh, where? Alabama.
Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're from the South.
Yes, and I'm actually from the swampy part of Alabama.
Are you
I'm
really?
from the Gulf Coast.
So did you hang out in swamps? Did you go on like swamp boats and stuff?
We went on airboats and also, I mean, we didn't own one, but I've been on them a bunch. And yeah, we have an alligator alley down the street. My cousin's dog got eaten by an alligator.
Shut up.
Yeah, I've eaten alligator a lot. It's very delicious.
Oh, alligator's good.
Yeah.
So what happened with the dog and the alligator?
The dog was playing in the river, and the alligator just alligators don't attack creatures unless they disturb them, and
Yeah.
the dog just unknowingly disturbed the alligator.
Oh no! How big was the dog?
I mean, it wasn't big, probably Mary Jane's size, a little bit bigger.
Oh, so about 30 pounds. Or
Yeah.
so. Yeah. Wow. Sorry, Mary Jane. I didn't mean to put your weight on blast like that. I know you're looking at me like, Dad, why are you telling the world what I weigh?
Okay.
So the Joes just were
Is
sent.
she Scarlet?
She's Scarlet. Yeah.
The redhead.
The redhead give you away.
Yeah.
So what's happened is the computer sent the Joes on a bunch of wild goose chases. So they've been spending all their time going to all these remote parts of the world, and they found old Cobra. So you're like, whether or not you think the computer's evil, you just think, oh, maybe the computer's not that good at what it does.
Yeah.
Target practice, boys, but don't count on winning.
Shipwreck, he knows that he's onto something because he just got attacked by a bunch of Cobra eels.
I see. He was kind of like put into the wrong situation. Ambushed?
Yeah, ambushed. Yeah. Because he was still looking for that ship, but he got ambushed by the eels. He left the ocean.
Oh no!
And now he got knocked out of the sky by a rattler, and he's gonna wake up and he is in Cobra custody, or is he? We don't know. Watchdog found him, and here's that doctor that you suspected earlier. He's a handsome looking
You
doctor.
designed the computer.
Yeah, he's a John Hamm type.
He's a John Hamm type.
I guess I owe you one. Listen,
Lots of Joes
I gotta
get lots
on
of
the horn to
concussions.
headquarters. I warn them.
It happens a lot.
So
Joes
then
get hit in the, Joes
now-
get hit in the head a lot.
Now G.I. Joe has CTE.
Yeah, CTE. There's a lot of CTE that goes around with G.I. Joes.
You mean Watchdog already warned them?
Not exactly.
He's the animation on the doctor is awkward.
It is.
Like there's like weird proportions.
Yes.
You know, and he's not a regular character, so it might. I mean, with all these other guys, they have they have so much animation for him.
Yeah.
So they just.
Yeah, because they'll just occasionally just not even have eyes on him.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He just looks.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Whoa.
you're right. The doctor just ripped off his face.
He's a member of Kiss. It's Gene Simmons.
You're not terribly far off. They have a band called Cold Slither, and it's just like Kiss.
That's
You're not
amazing.
terribly far off. It is Zartan. This whole time, the doctor and the computer has been a Cobra plot.
Whoa.
Maria, how did you know?
I just know structure. I'm a good writer.
Yeah, it's just story structure. It's all story structure.
I've watched a lot of Scooby Doo.
Okay. Well, then you know about people ripping face masks.
Yes,
off.
I do.
Okay. That's why he was animated so weirdly. It was all rubber.
It is also like because I did watch I think I might have watched more than one of these too, but I've also watched a lot of like Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
And they have a similar plot lines.
They do.
And
They
it's
do.
always, bring in a guy who has a high powered position if
It's
he's
true.
a new guy.
It's true. So, Cobra Commander is once again gloating. He's sure that this is the one time that the G.I. Joe is going to get destroyed. So
It
we're
is
going
also-
to go in commercial.
You're on a high-speed mission in enemy waters. There's no turning back. You're aboard the G.I. Joe Devilfish. Devilfish! When you run into a Cobra attack. Cobra attack! Cobra's got a new hydro sled. Cobra's an evil foe. And Cobra's new hydro sled is gonna get G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe! American hero.
What happens next? Find out in Marvel Comics.
Now back to G.I. Joe.
It is interesting how the bad guys always take them into custody instead of just letting them die.
Shooting him in the face. Like, if we're on a battlefield, it's okay for me to shoot a laser at you from 100 yards away.
Yeah.
But if we're up close, that would just be wrong.
Well, Shark Tank or whatever his name is. What's his
Shipwreck.
name? Shipwreck. I mean, he literally would have just fallen into the water and drowned, and that's all they could have.
Yeah. But no, they had to rescue him.
They had a rescue
'cause they had to
team.
gloat.
A rescue team had to go get him.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. So the drill that we saw earlier is now erupting through the bottom of the pit, and it's destroying the pit. And it's like this, it's like a giant drill on tracks, and it's just unstoppable.
Oh no!
It's driving over it's driving over all their motorcycles and their snowcats and their Sky Strikers, and that's how Cobra's going to win this time, by sheer demolition.
Oh no!
Yeah.
I see that they chose not to give some of the henchmen faces to help them out, huh?
Well, I mean, they wear masks over their face, so it helps animation.
Yeah.
And with Cobra Commander, that's his look. He's got the silver face, and then he also wears a hood sometimes. But either way, they don't have to do
smart.
It was very smart.
Clever animators.
Very smart. On the flip side of that, they made Snake Eyes, who also wears he's a good guy, wears a face mask, but then he's mute. So it's like they missed an opportunity. They should have made him the most loquacious character in the world, because we don't never have to animate his mouth.
Yes.
Oh, so Shipwreck freed himself, and he sends. He tells
Shipwreck.
Yeah, he tells Scarlet and Breaker that Watchdog belongs to Cobra.
Headquarters under attack, and that blasted
Cobra always shoots themselves in the foot by gloating. Like if Cobra Commander didn't make that call to the Joe base, and just let that machine, which by the way, the machine was stamped Cobra. There was no question as to who was doing it.
Oh, that's hysterical.
But he had
I missed
a call
that.
and he had a gloat, and when he did, Shipwreck got word out that Watchdog was a Cobra.
I do understand the desire to gloat, right? Is you put a lot of work into your evil plan, and you want the people to know.
I know, but I feel like you do that. You could maybe learn a lesson, because this is episode 56.
Oh, I see.
57. Like, learn a lesson.
Yeah.
Maybe after all these defeats, maybe this time you gloat when it's done.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, yeah, Cobra's like the mission accomplished of.
Cobra's absolutely standing on an aircraft carrier with mission accomplished as Sky Strikers fly overhead, bombing them to hell. That's exactly what's happening.
I'm open to suggestions.
I will say this: the image of that Watchdog, it's pretty awesome. Like this giant sand fortress with all these great big floodlights on it and everything.
Yeah.
Like this is a cool action adventure episode. Like there's lots of fun, there's missiles firing everywhere. Yeah, like it's a good battle. Ace just got knocked out of the sky, it looks like. Somebody did. But like, look at that animation. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And kind of different. It's kind of it was a little anime inspired. Flint is driving the I think that's called the Armadillo, which doesn't get a lot of love.
It's also very forward thinking too to have a character named Flint, and then now we have all the Flint, Michigan drama.
Oh my God, yeah, and we know that Flint likes lead.
Does he really?
Well, he likes shooting people. So yes, so Flint has given lead poisoning to a lot of people.
Wow,
that's really bringing it all together. Alpine, Bazooka show up.
Wow.
I mean, everybody's in the mix.
We really were obsessed with bazookas in the 80s and 90s.
Bazookas, right?
Yeah.
They're great though.
Yeah. They kind of have a falling out in recent years, but.
Yeah. Well, I mean, eventually drones got everyone's imagination.
That's true.
But bazookas
drones are just so passive.
I know. And they're so like cut to the guy sitting in a trailer.
Yeah.
Flying a remote control.
Yeah.
It's like watching Twitch but with real lives. So Scarlet tries to fire, or she does fire a Sidewinder missile at this drill that's continuing to tear up the pit, and it doesn't do any good.
Sidewinder missiles can't stop it.
I feel like these animators have drawn all the women to look like handsome women. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
They're like, let's draw this man with big boobs.
I disagree with that. Well, what's the flip side? If they go super sexy, then everyone says that they're too sexy.
That's true, but I think more of
like
a round,
you can't have both.
A round chin.
Oh, okay.
They're
Well,
very angular.
Cover Girl, who's not in this episode. I think she fits that bill. That you're describing.
Okay.
Yeah, I think she fits that bill. There's three main female Joes. Later on, a couple more come in, but for now, there's three main ones, and they all do have distinctive faces. So
obviously not that I'm saying women don't have angular faces. I just think it's interesting that they all have angular faces.
Well, the two on this episode do.
Yeah.
Cover Girl actually is
because all the men
rounded.
have very angular faces too.
Well, because that's macho.
Yeah.
It's also probably easier to animate. To be
I
honest.
think so. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
they're
probably
better, easier drawing straight lines.
Yeah. Jay pulls up. Jay's also got great hair too. She pulls up in an All-Striker to rescue Heavy Duty and Flint because there's that tunnel borer, the drill. Scarlet and Breaker use the bazooka not to stop the drill, but just to blow open the door on the side.
Wow.
And they're now tunneling underneath the Watchdog.
What is the ooze that's coming
It's
out?
lava.
Ah.
Like they earlier magma. earlier they showed that like it would bring up magma from the earth to help destroy it.
Yeah.
So they come through the top of the watchdog. This whole sequence is animated beautifully.
It is, yeah.
The angles are great. That angle of Breaker and Scarlet jumping out was awesome. It was like from the worm's eye view. The explosion is great. The drill pops up through it and the whole thing explodes. And here they come parachuting down. But that whole sequence was wonderfully animated. Like if they saved money earlier in the episode, what I was talking about with like the Sky Strikers weren't really densely animated, they spent it on this part, which is so worth it.
Definitely.
It's so worth it. So Cobra Commander ruins yet another TV screen in his headquarters.
Is that his thing? He
just throws chairs.
He's a rock star.
Yeah, he is totally a rock star. He's very upset. And Shipwreck's still...
Don't you think it would be satisfying to break a TV if you're angry?
I really do. I really think it would be. And Shipwreck takes advantage of Destro and Cobra Commander to just
walk
leave.
away.
What that is that's a plot thread that they didn't have a way to resolve really well. Because,
well, they were running out of time.
Yeah, and Shipwreck left that room as if there were no other Cobra soldiers on the base. He would just get out.
Yeah.
And it's not complete. You can't say it's left angry because they show him escaping.
Yeah.
It's just really funny.
It's like he just threw a rock in another direction and then walked away.
That's exactly it. And that's the episode, Maria.
That was great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I liked it. I mean, it was cheesy and fun as a kid if I had watched it more. I don't know if I would have liked it as a kid because I wasn't into gory stuff.
Yeah.
I liked humorous things.
Yeah.
But as an adult, it's it's fun and cute to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good throwback. I love it. Yeah. Well, Maria, thank you so much for being a
Thanks.
guest on Joe
It was
on
so
Joe.
fun.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to find Maria on social media, you find her at Ria Wojo, RIAWOJO.
Yes.
And that's on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and a little Snapchat sometimes.
Yeah. Just pretty much any type of social media. That's what I've always used.
And she does a Facebook Live show called Don't Mask Me.
Mm-hmm.
And you can find me on social medias send me an email, joeandjoepod@gmail.com, Joe and Joe Pod on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, and spread the word, and now you're Joe.
Yeah.
And Joeing is half the battle.
Yep.